रिकॉर्डिंग में मेरी पर्सनल डिटेल चली जाएगी यार, उसमें समझ नहीं रही।
तो तुम तो पर्सनल अपने कंप्यूटर पर ही रखोगे तो क्या जाता है? मैंने तुमसे पूछा, तुमने मना किया कि तुम किसी वेबसाइट पर यूट्यूब पर डालने वाले हो, तुमने बोला नहीं।
यूट्यूब पे प्राइवेट रहेगा वीडियो।
We have seen a couple of them away.
ठीक है, तो ये इसका ऐप डायनेमिक्स का खोल लो ना इधर करके।
Some reactions, thumbs up. Good. Okay, number of thumbs ups. Let's get started then. Okay, so far, like we saw about bounded context and the ubiquitous language, right? And so in terms of bounded context, it kind of allows us to break complex things into specific areas and focus on those. What the context map helps us, like it gives us a global overview of how different bounded contexts are situated and how the interactions happen between the bounded contexts. How do they communicate with each other, and what is the relationship between each bounded context? And this gives us a visual overview of these bounded contexts. And talking about relationships, right? Like there are so between the bounded context and the context map. So there are multiple possible options, right? Like one is customer supply relationship, where one bounded context uses the services of another. And there's also a stakeholder. So what I mean is like it could influence like what comes into this bounded context. A very good example could be, let's say we have the let's say we have a search screen, and we have a search screen, or we have a customer. Let's say we have a customer bounded context, and we have this product detail section, right? Like the customer bounded context can influence the product details context to add more details. So right, let's say I am buying a laptop and I see only the hardware configurations. I don't see like whether it has a touch screen or not. So this customer bounded context can influence the other context to add these features. And that is where the customer supplier relationship comes into picture. And in terms of the next one is we have the conformist. So where again, like one bounded context uses the services of another, but it just uses assets. It's not a stakeholder. It just uses as it is available. So in case of again, let's say we have a product catalog and context, and then the inventory context, right? So here the inventory context just provides the details of the amount of items that is available in the inventory of a particular product, and the catalog just uses as such. And there are also this anti-corruption layer where let's say like we one bounded context uses the services of other, but they are not compatible. Let's say like we have so in the e-commerce itself, right? Let's say we have an application where we do order management. And specifically for books, like we are still using, even though we have moved to microservices world, for fulfilling orders related to books, like we are using a legacy system. But the legacy system has a different set of parameters, and it has its own language. And here, this anti-corruption layer acts as an adapter, so that like we can still use this legacy system to fulfill the orders related to books. Yes, Sridhar.
So when you see this bounded context, right, as Satish is explaining, see it as dependencies between even teams, right? Sometimes teams might own bounded context, or it can be shared between teams. So if you look at it, right, the customer supplier thing, it's a clear indication that one team is going to act as the customer and the other team is going to act as the supplier. Sandeep and Satish, correct me if I'm wrong, okay? Conformist is the case where one team is going to conform to and support the other team, right? Meaning, if a team keeps making changes, the other team conforms to the change and it changes the bounded context and it keeps catching up, right? And finally, the anti-corruption layer is the place where one team doesn't want its bounded context to get affected by changes in another bounded context, so it kind of builds that anti-corruption layer to safeguard its bounded context. I mean, does it make sense, Satish and Sandeep?
Yes.
So see it that way, folks. Any questions on this? What I stated now, or what Satish explained?
Is this difference between this customer supplier and the conformist, right? Like because there also it's like one bonded contest is using the services of another, and it gets influenced right by the stakeholder. But with as is or it conforms to, is it like it both have the like use the same, or like there still be like one bounded context that has to conform to the other bounded context when there is a change, right?
Actually, if you take it right, usually it's a customer supplier thing. There is one more thing called open house service. Have you put an open house service, Satish? OSS?
Yes.
Right, coming. So I'll let Satish, sorry for interrupting for the flow. So Satish, I'll let Satish explain this thing completely and then we'll get to your question. Okay? Okay. I think by the time it will be clear. Go ahead, Satish.
So again, like, so this open door service is like where like we specify a protocol, right? Like how do these bounded contexts want to communicate with each other? Like it could be RESTful service, it could be event driven, and that is where the open door service comes into picture. And so when we are also interacting, so one more thing that we also have to make sure is the contract, right? Like we have different systems, and when you interact, we also have to conform to a contract. So where we publish a language, it can be an XML schema, JSON, or we kind of agree to a contract saying, okay, this is what we will be sharing. And finally, we have this shared kernel approach, like where two bounded contexts can use a common kernel. For example, it can use a library. So I think these are the different context maps that we have in terms of the bounded context. Anything anyone want to add? So I think you are saying something. Do you want to continue that?
Yeah. Sandeep, you want to add anything before I say something?
No, I think for published language, the example would be the domain events, right? Basically,
Right.
open host service. If you have Swagger API, very
Swagger
often
API.
Swagger API is a good example of open host where people are consuming. There's a versioning maintained on an open host service. So as a consumer, you can say, I want to use version 1, I'm not yet ready for version 2.
Yeah.
So that's typically open host. Shared kernel, like sharing the domain model is a very risky thing. So anytime you decide that as a two teams or two bounded contexts you want to share something, be careful. Like even if you create a common base class, now you have dependency between two microservices because one team has to ask another team, and there's a communication. So I would avoid share kernel model for the domain domain model case, and two bounded context sharing something. It's basically you have to be very careful that why you are doing it. You need to have reasons why you are doing that. Yeah, go ahead, Sri.
Yeah, sure, sir. Sandeep, thank you. So by the way, so we look at this, right? Think in very simple terms. I mean, these look like very complex concepts, right? If you want to simplify the whole thing, you always need a service contract when you talk to a service, correct? You always need a data contract when you are actually trying to understand what the service takes in as parameters and what the service returns as a response, right? A request and response. So that's a data contract between, to consume that service, right? When two bounded contexts or even two teams want to use one service of another or get benefit out of something, see why you're doing that for reusability. You want to keep it dry, you don't want it to do the same thing. It's better that the particular domain, subdomain, the expertise, the team that knows it does it, that's better, right? So the whole thing is about your service being consumed by someone and they need all the information to consume it. They need to know